Right, so in this video, so I'm just this is the next one in the series, and as you can see from the title, it's actually going to be a double strike. So what I'm showing here is yet again how the mice are having a look at the trap, and you can see that they're doing their standard investigation. Any new sort of thing that comes along, they're always going to sniff it out. And also when you look in the background, you can see they keep on trying to reach up to the cupboard, because that's where the food used to be. Well, that's where the food actually is that they were eating before, but of course I just shut the door. So it shows you how dumb mice are, that they can't even tell when something is like a setup. They just go in and grab the food thinking that, yeah, that's where it is, we're going to live. But your food supply can just get shut off at any time when you invade someone else's house. So here comes another one. Let's just have an investigation. And what it is, you'll notice about this mouse, it's only really concerned about the food which is in the cupboard. So it obviously doesn't know this is a trap. It just knows that there's some new thing here, and it's just been a bit wary of it. Now notice the way it went down there in front of the sensor, but the trap didn't trigger. And the thing about it is that what I've done is the firmware in this that I'm using to actually run the trap, it actually doesn't trigger straight away. What it does, it tries to wait until the mouse is approaching the food slowly. And of course, to do that, I had to actually do a bit of, it took a bit of time to write, because I realized that if you have it trigger straight away, what can happen is the mouse can be in like a bad position when the trap strikes. So say the mouse triggers it and is running away, it might be able to get out the side or the front. So alright, so now it's going for it. Alright, so it's still not that interested yet, but now, yeah, you notice it went in front of the sensor a few times. And I think it's also because the sensor's low down, so if it doesn't crouch down, it doesn't block the sensor properly. But the important thing is that when it goes for the food, it actually crouches to put its mouth down. That's when it will actually block the beam for long enough. So I don't know if it looks like it's not ready yet. All it cares about is just that, what was in the cupboard, as you can see. And the other thing you can see is there was a few of them as well. But this is one of the things about it, is this is why there's so many videos in the series, because there was quite a few of them in there. And the other problem that I had in this house is that there's actually a hole downstairs. And that's where they kind of come in, and well, no one really bothered blocking that actual hole. So there was always a way that the mice could get in once they worked out how to get in. Alright, yeah, I think we're getting close now. But as you can see, the mouse just doesn't care. As far as it's concerned, this is not a trap. All it cares about is, can it get into the cupboard? That's all it cares about. Like somehow there's a way in. And it still hasn't even, alright, now it's noticed the food, so finally it's triggered the trap. So you can see the way that mice, they don't really have any real clue about what a trap is. And so that's why, if you can make it so that the trap is very open, the mouse will happily run under it. And this is the other important thing I've noticed about the traps and why I've designed it this way, is that as long as the floor doesn't have anything on it, then the mouse has no problem walking over it. But the vast majority, I think all the traps on the market so far, except for one that I've seen, but I only saw it on YouTube. I haven't seen it for sale on someone like Amazon. But on YouTube, there's a trap which actually like scoops the mouse up. But that scooping trap only works for a big sort of rodent, and it is a bit dangerous the way it works anyway. Because the other thing I like about this trap is because the food's in the middle, it means that the mouse is in a position where the trap can close quite nicely without, trapping it. because of course it's facing away from the exit, which is the important thing. So in order for it to escape when the trap triggers, it has to turn around. And that's the other thing about this trap. This is still using the old actuator system. So the only thing that's been upgraded on it is the the magnets that I've put around the side, in order so that it's easier to transport. Right, so I think in this one I'm just showing it for a bit of time. Actually, I think I forgot to cut this. Let me check. Okay, so now it's time. Okay, it's seeing me now, so now's the time for it to be released. Yeah, so that mouse is in the bin. So now this is the next one. So we can see it doing a bit of investigating like the other one. Still doesn't care about going under the trap. Because like I say, this, and you can see it's a male mouse as well. Because this one, you can see that it, yet again, it has no problem walking underneath because it's on the normal carpet. And you see the majority of traps all the traps I've seen, they all have a plastic base. So it's asking the mouse to go onto another surface. And what I've noticed is that mice don't really like doing that. So now it's going to go for it. And so you see it stayed long enough in front of the sensor for it to actually block it and for it to trigger. And you see that's what I'm saying, is that I knew I had to design the trigger in such a way so that it triggers ideally when the mouse is stationary. So, because the one thing you don't want is for the mouse to be running towards the exit when the trap triggers, because then it's got a chance of making it. But if the mouse is stationary facing away from the exit, because it has to turn, that's more than enough delay to actually, so that's more than enough delay to actually make sure the mouse is caught. Yeah, actually it's interesting because this particular mouse seems a bit more sedate. Because I've noticed that some mice, when they're trapped, they actually do try a lot harder. But it's like this one, I don't know, it doesn't seem as concerned, but it's definitely trapped. But it's like it doesn't panic as much as the other mice do in terms of how agitated they get. But anyway, it's about time for, okay, I think it's seen me now. Yeah. So now it's time to get it ready. Yeah, and you see that's why it's frozen, because it is actually, the camera is still running, but the mice always freeze when they see you. Okay, so that's the mouse ready inside the sort of magnetic trap, or I should say the magnetic base. Well, the magnetic base has been added, so essentially now the mouse is ready for transport. And as you can see, the fact that it's so stationary is just because it can see me. So once a mouse can see you, it just essentially just stays there and doesn't move, even though it's in the trap. Alright, so this is just a view from my phone. And you can see that this mouse is not quite as sort of active as the other. You just see, I think it's because it's a... I think this mouse is younger, because notice it's not trying as hard to escape. And actually, if I remember correctly, this is... I think this is one of those... it does seem like a baby mouse, because of the way that it's just not trying too hard. I think this is what happened when they're young, is that it's not digging as much. It's trying to see if there's a way there out, as it's but that's too late now. Once the magnet snaps in place, that's the end of that. And so no more mistakes can be made. And so now this mouse as well is ready. And what it is, because I've got the other one already caught, so I'm not going to carry this one out and then the other one separately. So what I'm going to do is just release them into the bin. Yeah, so there it is in the trap, and you know it's making a sort of an attempt, but it's not digging like some of the other ones do. All it's doing is running. So I don't know. I think when the mouse is very young, it's like it doesn't even understand that, you know, the position that it's in. Oh, actually. Oh, alright, so I hadn't. Oh, yeah, so I thought I'd put it on, but I hadn't. So, yeah, so this is, I'm just showing how it's going on from using my phone. I notice it doesn't want to go on the plastic, but now it's got no choice. Yeah. Yeah, its tail got trapped there. That's why it ran like that. Yeah, so now the mouse is sealed in properly. So it's time to drop it into the bin as well. And then of course I'm going to be just transporting it out. Yes, you notice only one of the mice is active, because you find that some of the mice I notice are depressed, and I don't know if those are the mice which they're like the ones who ain't gonna survive. Because you can see which mouse definitely wants to make it. Alright, so now this is me taking them for their walk. As you can see, they know the game's up, so they're just having a bit of camaraderie. But this is a standard thing that mice will do, as you'll see. I mean, one thing I have to say though is that I don't know if I've ever seen a mouse close its eyes. I've seen them blink, but to see a mouse blink, you have to look really. You have to like stare at them for a while. Alright, so now I'm just on finally back into that nearby wood again. So it's time to bring it to the point where I'm going to release it. Okay, there you go. So now it's time to get them out. And this is the interesting part, because this shows another way in which the difference between the mice. Okay, so it's down. Yes, that's on the ground. But notice that even though the exit's there, they're not really interested. Showing you. Alright, so that one notice that the way is clear and that it's time to run. But notice how this mouse doesn't really want to go. So it's gotten so used to being in confinement that it thinks that it's safer for it to be. You see, it's even trying to run to stay in the trap. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Because that mouse is like, it's like one of these crazy humans who just wants to stay in a trap. So even mice do it as well. But then that's them released and another 2 mice out the way.